Hello, sixth graders. Mr. Hemming here.
And Mr. Figueroa is here.
And we are here to talk about Fort Snelling.
Fort Snelling.
Mr. Figueroa, when are we going to Fort Snelling again?
April the 30th.
Now,
Monday.
let me get the calendar out here. When is that again?
The 30th is right here. And we are right now Thursday the 12th. So we have one more day and the weekend and one more week and another week. And then on Monday of the last week of April, we will be heading to Fort Snelling that day.
Oh, so we're getting close, aren't we?
Oh, we're getting close.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so we better get ready.
So
that's
sixth
why we
graders-
need to know exactly what we need by that day or by that time.
And that's what I thought we could do right now. I thought we could cover a few questions that a lot of the sixth graders have been bouncing off you and I and other teachers
Sure.
in the building.
Yes.
I do want to plug this really quick.
Okay.
Of course, we need to get our Fort Snelling flyer in.
Oh, definitely.
Because we need to get that $8, of course, so we can pay Fort Snelling.
Uh-huh.
And then we need to let the lunchroom know. What do we need to let the lunchroom know for?
Well, that we are going to eat lunch. We are going to take the lunch from the cafeteria. And they will probably need the PIN number, of course. I have been asking the students to write the PIN number there.
Yes. Most of my students say they're going to make their own lunch, so make sure you remember on April 30th.
That is totally fine.
And of course, you've got to put your name on this, sixth graders. We have had some silly squirrel business going on over at Fort Snelling the past few years, and some lunches have disappeared.
Ooh. Yes, and then we ended up with people without lunch.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And,
And
after,
then we've had some fat squirrels, so we're not unsure.
and
what's
after
gonna
being there
happen.
for a while, and then you go and look for your lunch and you don't find them, oh, that is frustrating.
Yes.
Yes, and if you bring your lunch from home, also it has to be in a bag. Don't bring your lunch bags, but bring a paper bag.
Paper bag. Yep.
Yeah, is the
Yep.
best thing.
Yep. Yep. And of course, if you get your flyers handed in, you get a Fort Snelling fruit snack. So make sure you do that, sixth graders.
Oh, please remind me. Some of my students in my classes, I haven't given your fruit snack, and I will give it to you.
Yes.
But ask me for those, please.
Yes. Another question, Mr. Figueroa, that kids have been asking is, what do you wear at Fort Snelling?
Yes. Well, first of all, you need to bring your teacher, your RMS teacher, because we wanted to identify everybody.
That's right.
Our students.
Fort Snelling, yeah.
And it seems like we are not going to be the only school there that day, probably.
We probably won't. We'll probably see some
Yeah,
other schools there, and we want
so-
to give some Spartan pride.
Yes, exactly. So we need to be there present and showing them who we are, and
Yes.
also for the people who are there working with us, and also for us to identify our students more
Yes.
more quickly.
Yes.
So we are wearing our T-shirt.
Now, we see that there's snow on the ground, but we're really thinking that snow is going to melt, but it's still springtime, and you know, those mornings can be chilly.
Yeah,
We
that's
always
right.
recommend wearing pants and maybe a light jacket or a
Yes.
sweatshirt to Fort Snelling.
Sure. And if this gets warm, so you already bring your string bag where you can put your jacket.
You can store your jacket
You
in
can store
there.
your jacket here.
If you had a water bottle, you could store that
As
in there.
well, yes. And it's easy to carry, doesn't really weigh that much.
Yes. Yes.
Backpacks are, I don't think it's a good idea.
I think a backpack would just be really uncomfortable.
A little bit
and-
too much.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because it's spring and the snow is melting and the rivers are high, we're gonna want to wear some good walking gear because we're gonna do a lot of walking. We're not only going to walk all over places in the fort, we're actually gonna walk below, and we're actually gonna walk through Bedote. And we want to make sure that we have proper walking gear.
Yes.
And we recommend maybe some hiking boots because there's going to be a lot of mud. And we would hate for your nice pair of new shoes, new Nikes, or Under Armours to get all muddied up.
Yes, that is right. What about the sandals?
Ooh, yeah, I'm thinking, some
Or
people love
Crocs.
wearing those white Crocs.
Oh.
That would be horrible at Fort
Yeah.
Snelling. So I leave those at home because they're not going to be white if you wear them to Fort Snelling.
Yeah, you will have a really hard time if you bring your flip-flops.
Yes,
Also.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Mr. Figueroa, we covered bags, and another thing that we could put in our bag is a question that I've been getting a lot lately.
Oh, me too.
Can we bring our cell phone?
Yep.
Absolutely, you can bring your cell phone.
Sure.
Because you're gonna wanna take a lot of pictures. This is such a beautiful place that, again, is only 10 minutes away. You are also gonna wanna take a lot of selfies.
It's really worth it to bring their cell phone.
You heard the 8th graders on their film saying they love taking selfies up on the tower. We do need to understand, though, that RMS expectations are still apply at Fort Snelling. So if you are being out of character with your phone and the chaperone warns you, we must apply to those RMS rules.
Yeah.
And if it does get overboard, they do have the right to take this from you. But don't worry, you'll get it back after we're done with the fort.
And it's an easy sign when you know that you are being kind of obnoxious with your cell phone is when people get upset.
Absolutely.
You know, as soon as you see taking pictures that are people don't want it, and as soon as they tell you that is because you are not doing something right with your cell phone.
Yeah.
And that puts you in risk to lose your phone for the rest of the day.
Save the power struggles. Just put it away and
course.
then use it correctly.
Yes,
Yeah.
and have fun.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing that we're going to do on the trip is we've already talked the fact that we're going to go down below into the Bedote area. We're going to see the rivers meet. We're
Yes.
going to see some other things. And while we're down there, we're actually going to have a pretty cool scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Where kids will be running all over trying to find answers to these questions.
Yeah, so we are going to visit 3 places that are very important down there, down below, and one of them is the Memorial Dakota, which is a sacred place where when we visit it, we need to be very respectful and also answer the questions that are related to that place, that specific place.
Yes. Yes. Of course, got to put your name on it because we want to give you guys a good grade for Fort Snelling.
Of course.
And we're going to provide pencils for you, so you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to put it in your bags or anything. And of course, when we're down below, we need to make sure we stay with our groups, because we'll all be in groups. In the fort, that's not going to be a very big problem, because we got big old walls to trap you in. Just kidding. But we want to stay with our groups. Also down there.
We don't want people walking by themselves.
Yes. Yes.
And their own.
Yes.
Because it's not really safe. It's better for you to be with a group.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of paths down there, and one of the paths leads to Pike Island, and it gets a little crowded, so we want to make sure that we walked to the right.
Yes.
Stay on the right
Mhm.
as you walk past other groups and things like that.
Yes. And lunch, where are we gonna eat the lunch?
That's right. So when it's time for lunch, right before we walk into the fort, the entrance of the fort, there's this huge grassy knoll. And that's where we sit down and have lunch. The 8th graders kind of spoke about it, that was really fun to lay in the field and eat lunch.
Yes.
That's where we'll be having lunch.
Under the trees.
Under the
and
trees,
grass.
and again,
And hopefully we have a good grass by
yes,
that time.
yes, and hopefully we have just beautiful sun pouring down on us.
Oh, yes.
Another thing that we'll have there, of course, is we'll have a water station, because again, with all this walking, we are going to get thirsty.
Definitely.
And so if you don't bring that water bottle, because again, if you bring a water bottle, you got to carry it the whole time, we will provide some water for you at a quick station
Yes. But a small water bottle would be fine.
Yes.
For carry in your string bag.
there. Yes. Let's say I drink too much water and I got to go to the bathroom.
That is a tricky thing because we don't have too many bathrooms in Fort Snelling.
Yeah.
I think a good idea will be as soon as you exit the bus, is see if your chaperone can walk you to the building.
The visitor
and
center,
the
yeah.
visitor center.
Yeah.
Because the bathrooms,
There's
there are
bathrooms right there.
good facilities there.
Yeah.
Once you walk toward the fort and go down to the memorial, Dakota Memorial, you are not gonna find good bathrooms.
Yeah, there's no bathrooms down by Bedote.
But if you find them, they are probably
Yeah.
not a good shape.
Now, I do know there are a few bathrooms inside the fort, but we got to remember that this fort was built in 1819. The plumbing's a little shaky, if you know what I mean. So just be wise about your bathroom breaks and things like that.
Yes. And also, it will be another way to stay with the group. If you go to the bathroom, we will have to walk long distance and try to
That's true.
bring you back, and then you will find your group, and
That's true.
it's better to stay with your group.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Now, Another cool thing about going on this trip, Mr. Figueroa, is we've learned a lot about Fort Snelling this whole entire year.
Yes.
And when we walk into the fort, there are actually going to be Fort Snelling people there. What we mean by is there are going to be characters there. They are going to be
Yes.
dressed up in authentic Fort Snelling gear.
Yep.
And they're going to be presenting to us and talking to us and teaching us things. And
Yeah.
the great thing about it is we've already learned a lot about this stuff. And what we're asking you guys to do is use your prior knowledge. When they ask you a question, you should know the answer. Please answer them. And if you have questions, by all means, ask them. They'll tell you some more things that Mr. Figueroa and I and Miss DuPont and Miss Weinmaster haven't even explained yet.
Yeah, I have seen their faces of these people who are there teaching you about the Fort Snelling, how they smile and feel so glad when they hear
Yes.
from you, that demonstrating that you really know about this all this Minnesota history.
Yes.
They love that.
And one particular example is when you go see Dred and Harriet Scott's home there at Fort Snelling. The person there explaining the story is going to ask you guys questions. By all means, fire away your answers and then ask follow-up questions too. That would be great.
Definitely. And it's going to be really cool to see those places and
Yes.
recognize that they are not only
Yes.
in the Northern Lights books, they are really places in the real life.
Real places.
And we have the wonderful opportunity to go and see it.
Yes.
Maybe you had been there, but you didn't know. When you were there, you didn't know all what you have known at this point about Fort Snelling
That's
and
right.
Minnesota history.
That's right.
Yes.
Another thing about those presenters, we need to be respectful to them.
Oh, definitely.
Just like the classroom, when the teacher is talking, we are quiet. That's not a good time to take out your cell phone and start looking at things. Be respectful to them, because they're there for us to teach us.
Yeah, when they are talking, it's good for us to stop any side conversations and just look at them and see when they have a pause, when they have so you can ask a question, or when they ask questions so you can give the answer, raising your hand and be respectful, showing all your good manners.
Yes, yes. Well, last but not least, we want to kind of tackle this question here. And the question I've gotten from a few students is, do we have to go to Fort Snelling? And I just want to make it
This is
simple.
asking like, do I need to go to school?
Yeah.
It's like, do I need to go to school? Of course
so-
you need to go to school.
And we're thinking that the confusion is Eagle Bluff. You know, we asked, do you want to go to Eagle Bluff? And you said either yes or no, and some of you stayed behind. Well, in this case, we're all going to Fort Snelling because we want to achieve this 6th grade social studies standard, 6.3.3.6.1. And basically, that standard wants to know, do you know everything about Bdote and Fort Snelling, and have you been there? We're going to go to Fort Snelling. We're going to be there. Are you going, Mr. Figueroa?
I'm definitely going to go.
I
This is
think-
my favorite field trip every year.
Absolutely. I think Mr. Haybeck's going. I think Miss Buss is going. The entire 6th grade is going.
Everybody's going.
So, you know, when you come on April 30th, Monday, we're all hopping on the bus and we're going to Fort Snelling.
Yes, it's like having a class, but we are not going to have a class in our classrooms. We are going to go to the real place to have all that information.
Yes.
And enjoy the place.
Yes. And I have a feeling that you're really, really going to be ready to head to Fort Snelling that day because MCA testing, reading, math, it's coming up.
Always like 2 weeks of.
And, you know, you guys are going to be working really hard on those testings, and now it's going to be like a breath of fresh air when you head to Fort Snelling and walk off all of that nervous angst energy because of testing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a good way to also conclude all that hard work and have a reward, because it's really a reward.
It really is. It really
Yes.
is. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Figueroa. I am excited to go to Fort Snelling.
And I need to tell you something.
What's that?
Me too. I am really excited to go to Fort Snelling, and I will see you there.